Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this DELL XPS 15 9000 series, specifically the 9500. Alright, we're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver to remove the screws from the bottom. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. So the way I do that, I put them flat side down on my desk in the pattern I remove them, so like this, and then I go basically in this U shape, okay? So let's go ahead and remove all these screws. Alright, I was told this laptop had some liquid damage in it, so let's see if what the inside looks like. If it's very badly corroded, then we might have to kind of see if we can clean up the board and get it to power on. But if it doesn't, then we'll see from there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the rest of these screws out. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so now we got all these screws out. We're going to pop the bottom cover off. So usually the way I do that, we'll see, either from the front or the back. You don't want to push on the trackpad, but usually I'll get my fingernails in here. Most likely I have to flip it the other way, but I'll push with my thumb and pull with my fingernails, and yeah, I think I have to go this way, okay? So what we do, I'll get my fingernails in the gap here between the two layers, and then I'll push with my thumbs, and you can see it already popped out. Okay, and this cover seems to pop out actually really easily, so I got that, and I wiggled it, and there you go. Okay, we're going to close this down. You can see in here, actually inside looks relatively clean. There's a little bit of stuff here, but not enough that it would cause any damage, I don't think. Okay, let me see about scrubbing it a little bit. Yeah, nothing that looks really bad. Okay, so we'll set that aside. This laptop, does it charge with USB-C? Let's see here. Yeah, I think it charges with USB-C. So let's flip this over and take a quick look. I have another video that I did for this model already, but that was like 2 years ago, so I figured I'd make another one. Alright, we got the battery here. Let's actually remove the battery. I think I'm going to need a JIS 0, but let me try a JIS 1 first, just in case. Okay, so yeah, we're going to need a JIS 0. Okay, you can see there's actually 2 SSD slots here. I'm assuming they both support PCIe NVMe SSDs, alright, M.2. Okay, so we're going to remove all these screws. There's the third one here. There's a hidden one underneath here. I probably should actually do a thumbnail of this. Okay, so I'm going to... Okay. Looks like the speakers have tape holding onto the batteries, so we're going to see... Okay, these might actually be JIS 1. So the top ones are JIS 0. And the bottom ones are JIS 1, I think. And one other thing is this laptop, I believe, is still in warranty, possibly. So if I don't really see any signs of liquid and it's just not working for some reason, then they might even be able to send it in under warranty. So let's see what's going on. I don't know if they even tried turning it on or not after what happened, so maybe it's working okay. I didn't try turning it on because I want to open it up and make sure there's no nothing shorting out the computer before I do that. Okay, so there's a screw holding the speaker here, so I'm going to remove that as well. And the one on this side as well, because this is taped on the battery, so I don't want to just peel it out. Okay, so we got that, and we got the speakers connected there. So let's see how we can peel this up. There's some adhesive holding it. Maybe I should zoom in here. If you're wondering, the battery model number is here, 69KF2. Alright, hopefully you can read that, 69KF2. If not, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Alright, so let's see here. This adhesive is kind of coiled around weird, so I don't know if I can just peel it off. Okay, I'm trying not to tear anything. Okay, so we got the adhesive peeled back. Oops, sorry, I was going out of view. We're going to try and grab with the little needle nose pliers, the little connector. Make sure you're grabbing only the connector that's to be removed. Don't pull on the socket, all right? And I just twisted and wiggled it like that to get it out, and there you go. Okay, let's zoom out here and see if we can pull the battery up. So we got this here, and we're gonna try and pull this up here. Okay, you can see the speaker comes out really easily. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Let's see, hopefully. Okay, there we go. Can get that out. All right, the battery is a little bit difficult to disconnect because it's so close right there. We're gonna have to unroute these speaker cables here. Okay, so I just pulled them out that way. Same thing with this side. Okay, now that we got that, we should be able to lift the battery up. Okay, you can swing it over to the side slightly here. Okay, and then I'm gonna try and grab the cable from underneath and on top. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to pinch the connector like this, and then I'm going to hold with my thumb down here to keep the laptop from sliding towards me, and then I wiggle it side to side as I pull, and there you go. Pops out pretty easily. You can see underneath here. Okay, it's a little dusty, so we'll kind of clean it off a little. There's like some signs of like dried stuff here, but nothing really that's shorted out that I see so far. So my worry, that means the motherboard is likely gonna be fried because there are signs of like stuff here. So I'll try and scrub it up a little bit. Okay, there's some white stuff there, but no white powdery looking stuff there. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to take this whole thing apart. If I didn't already show, there's 2 sticks of RAM here. Pull the 2 tabs aside, pops up like that. We can take this out. Okay, and this is PC4 3200 AA, 16 gigs, so 32 gigs total. We're gonna remove both sticks just to see underneath and see what it looks like. Okay, looks good. I don't see any signs of corrosion or anything there. Okay, there's a little bit of like just dusty stuff here, which you can't stop dust from going in your computer, so it's perfectly fine. Okay, we got the wireless card here with the antennas going in. Looks like we're gonna have to switch back to the JIS0. I am gonna have to go over everything and see if I can pull it apart. There's, let's see, I think most of these are JIS0 screws that are holding this. So I think I'm actually going to go across the top here, and then we'll work our way over. So I'll take this screw out first. And yeah, to make it easy for me to remember where the screws came from, I'm just going to go across the top, and I'll figure it out as I go. And I'm just going to put them all in that pattern. There's a bunch of like dust on these things, which again, you can't stop dust from getting inside a computer, so that's normal. Not really anything strange here. Doesn't look like stuff that caused any damage. Okay. Blow the dust out. Okay. There we go. I don't know what my cat's meowing about over there. Alright, so we got that. Let's go ahead and take these 3 out, holding the LCD LVDS connector in place. Let me actually zoom in a bit more. Alright, there we go. And then we got this one. Might have to pause in a bit. Okay, there's one on the fan here that we're going to remove. We're kind of just going in a row kind of thing. Not quite a row, but if they're somewhat close in the same row, I just put them together so it's less complex. Okay. Got one. Oops, I might have to zoom out for this. Okay, so we got this one here. You can see it's all wobbly here now. Okay, so we got that one. I'm gonna leave the heatsink screws alone, so we're gonna not take that out. Okay, I guess we'll take this one out. You can also take that metal bracket out. Okay, so take that metal bracket and set that aside, this one. Okay. All right, then we got one down here. Okay, and that just holds the connector down here, it seems. You can see this I/O connector here, so you just pop it up. I just use my fingernail underneath and pop that out, and we'll do the same down there. And you can see this connector just came out and looks perfectly fine. We'll set that aside as well. All right, give me a second, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So let's see here. There's this little connector here we're gonna remove as well. So we flip that latch up. I just used my fingernail. Then we can get this blue tab and we should be able to pull this out. It's a little tricky because there's not much room to grab it, but there we go. And that looks to be the fingerprint reader, FPR. There's a screw hidden under here that we got to remove as well. So keep that in mind if you are removing this stuff, that you get that screw as well. And it looks like that allows me to remove this metal plate as well. And we're going to set this aside. Okay, so it's a very complex build, it seems. Okay, this little connector seems to come out now. Oh, it's hidden under this fan, so we're going to continue working our way over to the side. We got one fan screw here. Okay, this is going to be very confusing now. We got that screw. How am I going to keep track of all this now? Okay, we got another fan screw here we're going to remove as well. And I think we can remove the fans. Yep, okay. So the fans, okay, they do tuck underneath there a little bit, so we are going to have to pull the connectors out first. So I usually will use my fingernails. It's pretty cramped here, so let's see if I can do it. It's a little bit harder too because I'm like trying to film as well. But basically you kind of like wiggle this as you pull, and there we go. All right, my index finger, I broke that fingernail a little bit, so I cut it, and now it's like kind of hard to use, but there we go. We got this fan out. Okay, so fan number one removed. We'll set that aside. All right, and we did kind of blow the dust out of here a little bit, so it's not too bad. Okay, fan number two, there's a connector over here. We're gonna do the same thing. I use my fingernails. You can use tweezers or whatever works for you, and we just wiggle that, and there we go. All right, we're gonna lift this up, and it slides out from under here as well. Okay, you can see it's kind of dust is stuck to the adhesives here. So we got fan number two out. We'll set that aside as well. Okay, what else we got here? I don't think I need to remove this screw. So the wireless antenna, this is one of the wireless antennas here. This is the other. There's 3 screws holding it in place, but I'm not going to actually remove those. We're going to leave that in place. We're going to remove the bracket to disconnect them though from the motherboard because obviously we can't lift the motherboard out if that's there. Okay, so we have this connector here. We're going to pop that up. I go from the tails, all right, and then I just pull straight up. It usually helps to use 2 fingers to go from both sides. You can use tweezers, whatever works for you. There we go, and we'll move that cable over to the side. All right, then we got the other one here. It is also tucked under this, so be very careful when removing this. It's a little tricky. All right, you can see we can pull it over to the side and it goes out from that little clip. And let me actually use this. It might be a little bit easier. So this little plastic tool. Get underneath with the pointy side, and then I'll just pry up from the tail. And there we go. A little bit tricky. Alright, so there we go. We got that out. You can see the motherboard's already kind of lifting up. I think we kind of already got all the motherboard screws out. We do need to disconnect this cable. Sorry, I'm like tongue-tying myself. Alright, then we'll flip that latch up with my fingernail, and then we can grab this like brownish plasticky tab stuff that's curled down and use that to pull it back. There we go. If you want, you can remove this side as well, which is KBCB, which stands for keyboard circuit board or something maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to flip that latch up back here. Okay. Wow, this latch is like difficult to flip up for some reason. Come on. There we go. Okay, then we will pull this whole cable out. We don't really need to, but I'm going to do it anyways. So we'll take that whole thing out, set that aside. All right. And yeah, the motherboard's free. I'll take this out just because. I'm going to switch to the JAS1 screwdriver. And we're going to remove this PCIe NVMe SSD thing just to kind of check it. So once you remove that screw, you can see it pops up slightly. And then this thing, you got to slide it that way. Okay, so we're going to pull on it back. And there we go. Okay, so the SSD is mounted in here. It is a PCIe NVMe. I don't know what's in there, but it's stuck to a thermal pad. So if you want to remove it, you are going to have to like peel it up. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to undo the thermal pad that's stuck to it and then get it contaminated a little. So we'll just leave it as is. This all looks good as well. I don't see any signs of damage. So let's go ahead now and lift this. Actually, we can lift this small board out first. Okay, and we'll take a look. This is the SD card slot. And looks good. I don't see any signs of liquid or damage or anything here. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Get over here. See if we can lift this up. You want to go very slow and careful. Especially when it comes to like liquid spills. Okay, one thing I forgot. We gotta disconnect the LCD LVDS cable stuff here. Okay, if I didn't already mention it, after disconnecting the battery, before removing the screen cable, it's always a good idea to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds, all right? So power button's on the left corner here. I didn't do that earlier. I probably should have, but yeah, we're gonna do that now. Okay, we'll give it about another 10 seconds or so. Okay, and then we should be good. So, luckily I didn't actually pull up the LCD cable yet, but here we go. Okay, so now that we did that, we're gonna pull this up. Sometimes I forget to mention stuff, and there we go. We pop that connector out. You can see how it's connected here. Then we're gonna disconnect this one as well. There's a little raised thing there that it goes over that these connectors go over, so just be careful with those. All right, and then they have this plastic thing here. You can see that kind of pulls up. I'm not sure. Oh, we do have to disconnect that. So there's 2 screws on those sides. We're gonna have to remove those, and we're gonna switch over to the JS0 for that. Okay, there's a lot of screws, so hopefully you guys are able to keep track of all of it. I believe I replaced a screen on one of these not too long ago, or I don't know. I remember disconnecting a cable like this on one of these laptops, so I don't know. Anyways, we got those 2 screws out, and here you can see now it lifts up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I replaced the screen on a model like this before. Not exactly this model, but it's built very similar design. Okay. There we go. So we got that out. Okay. And now we should be able to lift the motherboard out, I think. Okay, let's zoom out. Oops, too much. Too much the other way. Okay. So I think we can lift the motherboard out now, so let's go ahead and try. It's still stuck on something, maybe the heatsink. Yep, okay. Make sure to peel that up. There's some, I don't know if it's from liquid or sometimes there's like sticker residue under there. So we'll pull that up. Oh, is there a cable hidden here that I'm not seeing? it got some tape wrapped over here, so no, okay, never mind, it's not. All right, sorry, I don't know if my head got in the way. If it did, I'm sorry. All right, so I tilted it this way first, and you can see it's popping up, and now we're gonna kind of just maneuver it out of the way, and there we go. All right, we got the entire motherboard out. I see no corrosion at all on the bottom here, so probably okay. Actually, there's a little bit of like this white powdery stuff here. Nothing too bad though. I don't really see anything crazy. We're gonna just brush this up. Make sure to get any dust and stuff out. Okay, maybe on this side. I don't know what that powdery looking stuff is. Okay, and you can see some white powdery stuff here. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna kind of brush it off. Okay, and we'll brush that, and we'll kind of just brush it around to loosen up any dust or whatever's stuck to it. Okay. Okay, and because this had some white powdery stuff, I kind of want to peel this up and see if there's anything underneath. Though, it looks fine. Okay. There's a tiny bit of stuff here. We'll clean that off. Not really. There's a little bit of powdery stuff there, but not much. Okay, peel this up more over here and see what we see. I just see sticker residue. Yeah, I think it should be fine, but let's go ahead and peel all the way to the front here since that has some powdery stuff as well. Okay. I don't know why they put like this tapey stuff on these motherboards these days. It's kind of annoying, but I don't know. Anyways, we'll keep peeling. We gotta be careful peeling this up. Peel slowly. Yeah, I don't really see anything. It's just this adhesive stuff is just peeling off. Yeah, there's not really anything under here, so it looks okay. Anyways, I'm gonna just brush it up a little more. Yeah, there's just like the sticker residue stuff stuck on here. Let's see. I don't see any liquid damage or anything. At least after brushing it, it looks good. Okay, so we're just gonna stick this all back down. Okay, stick that all back down. Okay. Everything looks good here. All right. Let's peel up a little bit over here just to see. And it looks good. So, a little bit dusty here. Other than that, looks good. Okay. I might want to try and clean the white powdery looking stuff out on this black area. But other than that, I don't really see anything. Okay, let me get paper with a tiny bit of like distilled water. Okay, got this bottle. We're gonna fold up a piece of paper. I got a little distilled water in this. And we'll just see if we can wipe off that white, crusty looking gunk. Okay, looks like it came off. A little more. And same thing with this. perfectly fine. I don't see anything weird. Okay. So I don't know what that stuff on here is. That's not corrosion. It's like paint or something. So we'll leave that alone. Everything else looks okay. So I think it should be good. We'll put it back together and see if anything changed. Honestly, I didn't try powering it on beforehand because I didn't want to risk causing any damage. This keyboard is held in place with melted plastic, in case you're wondering. The annoying stuff. Alright, and there's a model number if for some reason you need it. Okay. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. And get off whatever this powdery looking gunk is. Okay. I think it looks good now. Random little hairs in here. Okay. Here you can see touchpad, trackpad cable connects to this little board. You got this connector going here for these LEDs on the front. Alright. JKB LED. So I guess keyboard as well. This is actually for the keyboard one. The LEDs go into the keyboard here. Then the keyboard connectors here. And all of it connects to this one little cable that goes to the motherboard. Alright, then you got the fingerprint sensor thing there, like I mentioned earlier. And what else here? I think that's about it. Get out these like hairs, cat or dog hairs. And I think we're good to go. Wow, it's raining pretty hard right now. I don't know if you can hear it. Alright, so we got all of that. Let's go ahead and put this thing back together. Okay, hopefully you guys will be able to put it back together and got all your screws in order. Okay, and let's clean this off. Okay, a little speck of something there. Okay, I think we are good. There's a little bit of powdery dust here. Try and clean that off. Alright, don't really see anything else, so let's go ahead and put this back now. So, obviously to put it back, you just line everything back up. Make sure you're not smashing any of the cables, because like this fingerprint cable needs to go on top, and all these wireless antennas need to obviously go back on top. So we're gonna make sure these cables go in first. And we're going to work our way over, line this up. There's a little raised mount there. And got that. Okay. Then we're going to go over here and get that. And that's all lined up. Alright. So that's lined up now. I'm going to now have to put back all the stuff. Give me a second. I'm going to check some messages real quick. Alright. So let's go ahead and line this up again. Okay, we have the two little screws that go to the side there. We're going to get those in. Hopefully I'm not forgetting and mixing stuff up. I think we got this right. Okay. That one and this one. Perfect. Alright, then we're going to line up these cables and click them down. Okay. Line it up with the raised mounts and click it down. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the JIS1. We'll get the SSD back in first. Make sure these cables are out of the way. Okay. And then we'll get the SSD back in. So it's a little bit tricky because we gotta kind of look from here, line up the thing and line up the SSD as well. Actually, I might have to take the SSD out to do this easier because it's going to be tricky to do it that way. So I'm going to peel the SSD out of here, just like that. There's the SSD. We'll get this in, push that into place. Good. All right. Then hold this down out of the way. While I'm holding it down, we'll slide this back into the slot there. Can be a little tricky. Come on. There we go. And then we'll drop that back in. Hopefully I got, okay, the SSD kind of moved around a little, but there we go. Okay, we'll get the JIS1 screw and put that back in. Perfect. All right, hopefully I'm not going to miss any of the screws because there was quite a few. So let's see here. We're going to get the fans in first. Okay, so those slide in underneath like that. Make sure to get the connector in. They actually put a little dot so you know which side is up and which side's down. But if you were replacing the fan and they didn't have that, make sure that these exposed metal pins are facing down, okay? So you don't want those facing up. So get that in, line that up, pinch that together. There we go. Get the other fan, same thing, slot it underneath like that, okay? And then make sure this goes into place. Get this connector lined up, same thing, you want the exposed metal pins facing down. There's a little dot on it, pinch it together. There we go. Okay, so let's start getting all these screws back in because there are a lot. We got 2 here, so, oh wait, I need to put this piece back in first. This goes under the fan, so I kind of messed up, but I guess I can lift the fan up enough that I can get this back in there. Perfect. Okay. Drop that into place. It looks like that's right. Okay, get the fan back in. Fingerprint reader. I should probably zoom in so you guys can see this better. Okay. Make sure that latch is up. Then you use the blue part of the tab to grab it and guide it in. Okay, be gentle with these. These cables can be a little fragile. Wiggle it, push it in. There we go, and then slide your finger over to latch it back down. Okay, so this piece had 1 screw underneath. We had this metal bracket. Oh no, I'm not remembering where this was. This metal bracket. This is here. Oh, that's for the wireless card. What am I doing? I'm confusing myself. Okay, let's plug in the wireless antennas. So you want to make sure they line up right. The way you know it's lined up is once you have it in the right spot, if you kind of try and move it around, it will stay in place. Then you can click it down. And I try and move it around with my fingernail, okay? Because then it can just slide around on top. That's how I know it's right, okay? So just like that, and clip. There we go. Okay, now that we got that, we're going to put the metal bracket back on top. Alright. So, like this. I hope I'm putting the right one in the right spot. Pretty sure. Did I not switch? Oops, I forgot to switch back to the JS0. Okay. Alright, hold that in place and screw that down. Okay, perfect. Wireless antenna in place. Okay. Let's go ahead and plug in this cable for the keyboards and stuff. Make sure the latch is up. Get that in place. Wiggle it. Alright, good. Slide your finger over to latch it down. It's important that you're not too rough with these cables, right? We're gonna try and get this clear brownish tab to help pull that back a little. Get it to go in place and then push it back in. Good. And then, again, slide your finger over the top to latch it down. There we go. Okay. Now we got, what else? Let's see here. Okay. We're gonna start from up here and we're gonna work our way over. Assuming I didn't miss anything. We had two. Okay. So we have this screw here. Wow, it's really pouring. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to work our way over. We have this one here. All right. Then we got the three holding the LCD LVDS cables in place, so we'll get that. Okay. I always like to loosely fit them if they're like a set, so I just loosely tightened them, and now we're going to tighten them down all the way. Okay, that's to make sure it's all lined up properly. All right, got those three. Then we got these over here. Okay, so got this one. And the fan screws are also part of a set, so I'm going to loosely fit the fan screw for now. Okay, so we got this one here. Then we got this metal bracket that goes back over this thing. Okay, so we got this one screw here. We'll loosely fit that first, and the second one down here. And now we can go ahead and tighten it all the way down. Make sure everything's lined up. Why'd it snap like that? Okay, here we go, and tighten this one. Okay, next thing, so we got those all in place. We're gonna work our way back over to the left side here. I remember there was a screw underneath. I think it was by itself. So we had this screw here. Was it this one? Or wasn't there a bracket? I thought there was another bracket somewhere. Oh, I combined them. Okay. So we have this cable here, but there's a screw that goes under there. And then there's this one that goes on these two. So it is this one. Okay. So I think we had this metal bracket here. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so we had this metal bracket here. And we had this metal bracket goes down like this way. So need that one. Okay. So this one goes here to hold this in place. Perfect. Then we have this cable. This one goes to the motherboard. As you can see, it says MB, and IO is this input-output board. Okay, this little metal bracket has a raised thing to line it up on both sides. And there we go. And then we'll push that back in. If you don't put this metal bracket, then you won't have anything to line up this part of the cable with. Okay, so we got that in. Now we're going to put this back on top. Okay, and we'll tighten this first, loosely fit that, and then we'll get this one. Okay, and this is like part of the fan one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the other fan screw down here, get that in. Now I'll hold the fan close to the heatsink, and then we'll tighten this screw. And we'll tighten the other fan screw down here. Okay, then we got this one here, we'll tighten as well. And there we go. Alright, so we got all of that. And then the last one we got is the other fan screw over here. So we'll get that one in. Again, pulling this up into place, and we'll tighten it now. And we'll tighten the this one. All right, next thing, we got to get the RAM back in place. Okay, so we'll get this back in, click that down, and the other one back in, and we'll click that down. All right, now for the battery and speakers, let's zoom out a little bit, or a lot, because we need to see the entire sides here. Okay, so we got this. We'll line this back up with the screw mounts. Okay, they have some raised posts here to help. Then we'll get this speaker over here, line that up, line that up. Then the speaker. Oh, we probably should have reconnected the battery first. But, okay, let's see here. So I'll lift this up so that we have room to get the battery back in. Make sure the connector goes in straight. Okay, you don't want to go crooked into it, and then pinch that into place. There we go. Then we will put the battery back into place again. Get the speaker, make sure that lines up. There we go. And then we just get all these cables to go back into their routing. Okay, just like that. Perfect. Last one. Okay, and of course you want to reconnect that speaker, but let's go ahead and get the 4 screws up here first. These are the JAS 0 screws, the 4. Right, this one's a little bit hidden by the speaker cable. Make sure you don't smash that. You don't want to clamp down the battery cable with that screw. All right, now we're going to switch back over to the JAS 1 and get these screws. Okay, don't forget the speaker ones down here. And then the 4 going along the bottom. I hope this laptop works. If not, I don't know. They'll probably have to send it for warranty and see what will happen. Okay. There we go. And the last one. Alright. So we've got all of those. Of course, we don't want to forget to plug the speaker in. Sucky thing with this, they don't have a screw or the bracket for the this SSD. So if you put another SSD, you're gonna need a, what do you call? Well, it doesn't have a place for the heatsink anyways, but you will need at least a screw. So I don't know if sometimes they come with the screws, but then people don't know and they throw away the packaging. So it might not be their fault. Anyways, let's go ahead and go in here and plug the speaker cable back in. Okay, make sure you have it right side up. And okay, it's hard to do this with the camera at this weird angle, so it's too much to one side. There we go, and then pinch it in, and now you can get that cable all the way in, and we'll stick this adhesive back down. Okay, good. I don't know if you were able to see all of that, but hopefully you were. We'll zoom out now, and now we just gotta get the bottom cover back on, plug it in, and hope it turns on. Okay, so we got that. Well, actually, this has some, actually, no, it doesn't have, not really. Okay, let me clean off the speaker grate a little bit, or not the air intake grate a little bit, because it looks kind of yucky. Alright, and let's go ahead now and put this thing back on. Oops, messed up a little bit. Give me a second here. Missed a spot here that I need to kind of wipe. Yep, let me get a little water to clean this a little better. Okay. That's the only thing I see here that, but it's not affecting the board, so. Okay, well, all right, let's get this cover back on. Pretty simple, straightforward. Probably just drop it in place and snap it down. Looks like everything lines up well. Okay, and then just click it all into place. Looks like. Yep, no tricks to it, I don't think. Yep, all right. Then we just get all the T5 Torx 5 screws and put them back in, and we're good to go. That's pretty much all there is to this. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. Leave a comment. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. You're welcome to stay as I finish getting all these screws back in, and then of course we're going to try powering it up. We'll see what happens. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully nothing weird going on here. Okay, last few screws. Last one here. All right, and yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can power it up by plugging it in. I don't know if there's a specific one for the charging, but we'll just plug it in one of them. Let's see if anything happens. I don't see the charge light coming on, so that's not good. Yeah, nothing's happening here. So it looks like it's dead. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.